Twitter owner Elon Musk revealing over the weekend that the social media company is still cash flow negative. In a tweet, Musk said that's thanks to a 50% drop in ad revenue and a heavy debt load. The latest potential threat to Twitter has come in the form of Meta's Threads. It quickly gained 100 million users, but it's also facing questions about its potential staying power. Joining us is Musk biographer Walter Isaacson, that book coming out in September. He's also a partner at Perella Weinberg, a professor at Tulane University, a CNBC contributor, so much more. We want to talk about that, AI, and about 100 other things, but it's so nice to see you.
It's great to see you.
So let's talk about this news over the weekend. We were actually discussing why did he put that out there, you think?
Well, first of all, he's impulsive. He will tweet anything that's in his head. And his management of Twitter has been because he really loves it, and he loves putting out impulsive tweets, and he loves the contentiousness of it. His favorite line in a movie is, "Are you not entertained?" That final line of The Gladiator, and that's what's distinguishing Twitter for better and for worse against things like Threads.
So what is? Do you know what his take is on Threads at this point?
He finds it boring.
And does he? He may find it boring. Does he find it nerve-wracking in terms of thinking about it as a genuine competitor, or does he say, you know what, this is a flash in the pan? It doesn't have the look. We were talking about it earlier. It doesn't have the feature set yet at all to really compete with Twitter in terms of on a just daily thing. In terms, it doesn't have hashtags. You can't search it. I mean, Twitter as a product, the sort of technology underlying it is just heads and shoulders better. The question is whether people find the conversation on Twitter better, worse than what's happening on Threads right now.
More contentious right now on Twitter. But you're right. There are more features. And for 3 or 4 years, Twitter rarely added features. One of the things in my book that I try to explain is he gets rid of 80% of the engineers. And yet every night he's sitting there adding a feature like put up video, be able to rewind video, be able to have, spaces work so that there's all sorts of talk shows each night. So he's adding engineering features even as he stirs up the contentiousness that I think scares away some advertisers.
I'm just trying to understand sort of where he thinks and what the company thinks about the competition.
He loves competition.
But this is really the first time there's ever been genuine competition. Blue Sky and all these other companies haven't been able.
You thought Blue Sky was probably going to do better than it did.
Excuse me?
I bet you thought Blue Sky was good.
No, because I mean, what I'm thinking that's so interesting about this is the network effect issue.
What about Clubhouse? Did you think Clubhouse was?
Clubhouse, I didn't think would actually last because I thought that it was sort of a hot moment. We were all stuck at home. Everybody wanted to and then I actually thought that Twitter, actually with Spaces, could actually make and I think they have.
I think Musk likes competition. I think competition is good for Twitter, and I think that it's going to force him to add more features.
Does he care about losing money? Does he care about losing money and having to keep paying?
I don't think that his biggest motivating fact is the amount of cash flow.
Is it like a gnat that he just like?
No one likes to lose money.
Nobody. That's what I mean.
He's doing God's work. I think he thinks he is.
I think that if he wanted to make money, he wouldn't have bought Twitter. Exactly. He wouldn't have sent rockets to Mars.
He did it for us.
He probably wouldn't do electric vehicles. He's not mainly. I mean, this is the theme of the book. There are a lot of weird things and demons and drives that motivate him, but money isn't number one.
You got your Dodge answer ready, I'm sure, for this one. So,
oh God,
you have a relationship with Elon, and you're writing a book.
I'm a biographer of him.
That's what I mean. I think that if you were not doing that, I think you might be much tougher on him, just from where you stand on a lot of different issues.
Wait till you read the book and you'll figure out how.
But in general, when we ask you, you give him the benefit of the doubt a lot here, and I wonder if that's because you're conflicted because you're close to him and writing a book about him.
Or he's finished with the book. He can say what he wants at this point.
Look, when you get up very close to a person, as I have for the past 3 years with him, you understand that person better. You understand the motivation.
All of his faults that the left likes to point out so much.
And there are a lot of faults. And he has a demon mode that is destructive. And that is the question when you write a biography, though, is how do you take the dark threads and realize that you can't just pull them out, that he wouldn't be who he is without both demon mode and his drive.
And by the way, are you more impressed with him after spending that much time?
I'm more impressed with him as an engineer. I think that he does not have a fingertip feel for, empathy, emotions.
I want to pivot on topics in just a moment, but Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, this cage fight situation. Does this make any sense to you? Do you think
I think we're watching the cage fight. I think it's a metaphor, no pun intended, for the meta fight with Twitter. But we're not going to go to the Coliseum.
But does Elon really want to do it? I mean, I think that Mark Zuckerberg really does. And I'll be honest, I have two sons who are twins who think of both of these guys as their heroes. And it is not good if you're in my family. In a civilized society, I don't want them fighting. But
when I think it was his 30th birthday party, Tallulah Riley, he was married to then, the British actress, and they put on sort of a Japanese pageant somewhere, and part of it was a sumo wrestler. And typical of Elon Musk, he could not help jumping in the ring with the sumo wrestler, trying to throw him. And he threw out a couple of discs, and he's had 3 operations since.
Right, I don't want this guy.
He's not going to go, I don't think.
I don't want him getting hurt.
Cage match.
I don't want either of them getting hurt, to be honest with you.
And what about your kids?
And I don't want my kids thinking this is the way to resolve problems. Let's just switch gears for a second. Talk about AI. You had a fascinating op-ed, but we've been talking about this strike that's going on in Hollywood right now, and there's a real concern that AI is going to take writers' jobs. I, of course, am sympathetic to this. Do you think that is real, true, overhyped, underhyped? What's your take?
It is real and true, and it's amusing to me, I should say.
Why is that?
Putting yourself into the category.
Okay.
That for more than 200 years since the advent of the Industrial Revolution, technology has been disrupting jobs.
Yes.
It disrupted the jobs of the weavers in England when the looms came in, and the followers of Ned Ludd started smashing them and became known as Luddites. Now, suddenly, technology is disrupting jobs.
The white-collar job,
like
right?
You,
yes.
Who are writers and deal with large language model type products. And yes, it's going to be disruptive. But suddenly, this is a whole new thing, and it's not blue-collar workers who are getting disrupted. It's writers getting disrupted. Well, it's going to happen because AI is going to increase the productivity of writers, but also replace some of what writers do.